Hey everyone, it's Haley, and today I wanted to just do a quick little video talking about some things that I have just been loving recently. I know I've been sporadic with my uploads, but then I kind of ended up taking a break because I went on vacation and I was planning on doing a vlog, but then I've been trying to make a medical appointment because I hurt my knee, and that has just been like I'm trying to get the nuclear codes. It honestly has been the most frustrating experience. So I just wanted to do something fun, quick, and easy where we can talk about some things that make me happy and have made me happy recently. So I hope that's okay with you guys. First of all, this video is sponsored by myself. So if you guys don't know, I started a small business this year called Stuffed Menagerie, which is where I'm selling the crochet plushies that I've been making. And thank you guys so much for all your support so far. I already have hit 100 sales, which is like wild to me. I am so excited about it, but it honestly means the world to me. Like every time I get an order and everything, it just completely makes my day. So thank you guys so much. But if you guys want to check it out, I do still have a few plushies available, so that will be linked down below for you guys. Speaking of that, we'll just get into my first favorite. I do have some books to talk about today, so that's good. We are getting there. I still have not been back to like my normal reading, but I have been doing some reading. Just a little bit. But of course, making amigurumi has been a favorite of mine recently still. So I have just a couple of things that I've made recently since I was on vacation. So I have this squid here who is just the cutest little thing with his little tentacles and everything, and he's so colorful. Really love it. And then also this big old snail. This is a very big snail, but I think it turned out super cute. The snail won't stand up on his own, but that's fine. We're just gonna put him in the corner there. There. They can just stay there. Now, as far as books, I did read 2 books in the past little bit. I'm not sure if it's like the past month or so, but I read Funny Story by Emily Henry, which is the most recent book by beloved romance author Emily Henry, and I did really like it. I thought it was a super cute story. I did vlog while I was reading it too, so I'll link that down below for you guys. But yeah, I'm always happy to have new Emily Henry, and this book was no exception. I wouldn't say it was like my favorite of hers, but I did still really enjoy this one. It kind of reminds me of something else that I started to read, but then I didn't finish reading because I wasn't liking it, but I can't remember what it was called. So it was like the elevated version of that, if that makes any sense. Then I also had a reread, and that was The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. This was my #1 favorite book that I read last year, and for a good reason. It's honestly such a fantastic story. I once again did vlog while I was rereading this one, but I just love this book so much. It has a special place in my heart as like a cozy, perfect for this time of year, honestly, read that will just completely warm your heart. I loved it, and I actually recently have been wanting to reread another book that was my second favorite of last year. It like was very close to the top 2, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. But if you haven't read this book, I highly recommend it. It is such a good story. Just absolutely fantastic. Honestly, I won't stop raving about this one because I loved it that much. I would try and give you a quick synopsis, but honestly, I think just go into it. Like, go into it not really knowing a lot, not expecting a lot, although I know I've put expectations high, but it's hard to like sum up in just a few words. So just give it a shot. For other books, I will get into where I've been. So I ended up going to California for a week to visit my sister because she just had a baby, so I was meeting my new nephew. And while I was there, I'm not a huge baby person, okay? Like, I'm not a kids person at all. So there was a lot of baby happening and, you know, crying and stuff. And also just in California, when in California, I have to go whale watching, okay? I love whales. They're my favorite animal of all time. And I went last year when I was there for about a month, and it was like the most incredible whale watching experience. I'll never turn down whale watching, okay? So this time I ended up going twice, but that was because the 2 trips, both of them were honestly the most amazing trips that I have been on, but especially the first was just incredible. Like, it was absolutely incredible. I will insert some videos of it here, but essentially the whale, who later I found out is Gigantor. We had Gigantor and then another whale who wasn't named. They were like right at the boat. So they couldn't possibly be any closer. And by the way, if you're wondering how I know their names, it's because humpback whales, they each have, their fluke is unique. So it's like a fingerprint. So you can upload it to the system that will identify the whale for you. And the tour guide on the boat uploaded it and then like posted what the whale's name was. So I was super thrilled to find out that it was Gigantor, because that is just such an epic name. But just like the name suggests, was a huge whale. But I got like a whale selfie and everything. Honestly, I was like crying when I thought back on it, and I was like writing my Instagram caption when I was telling people about it. I would just start crying because it was just, I'm so grateful that I got to experience it. Honestly, as a lifelong whale lover, it just meant so much to me to be able to see this and have such an incredible close encounter. Like, they were just such friendly whales, and I never thought I would get that close. It was so cool, so incredible. But if you're ever going whale watching, just know that trip is kind of like an anomaly. Like, on both days they got very close, but they don't always do that. Like, a lot of times they won't do that, but it still is such an incredible experience, and will highly recommend going whale watching whenever. But just know, like, the chances of seeing things can really vary because they're wild animals, obviously. But because of that, I've been on a whale kick, okay? I've been on a major whale kick. I'm pretty much always on a whale kick, but I've been on a major whale kick. So I finally ended up reading a book that I've had for a while, which is Whales: An Illustrated Celebration by Kelsey Osaid. This is kind of like a coffee table book, if you will, but it is gorgeous. It's so wonderfully illustrated, and it also has just like such awesome information about like evolution of whales, all the different kinds of whales, and dolphins and porpoises. It has all of that. Like, it is just such a wealth of information, and it was a pleasure to read and to get to learn a lot more about like these creatures that I love so much. I already listened to like whale podcasts and stuff, and I will get to the other thing that I've watched like 6 million times because I'm obsessed with it. So I do know quite a bit of information, but even this book gave me even more information, and I would highly recommend it if you are a whale lover like me. It is a really awesome book. So I did technically read it, but I know it's not like the traditional book. I'm actually reading another book on whales right now. It's called Spying on Whales. I forget who the author is, but I'm listening to the audiobook, so I will have updates for that one later. But I also have this book right here, which is Secrets of the Whales by Brian Scary. So this is actually also a like documentary series, a docu-series, that's the word that I was searching for, that is available on Disney Plus. And this is what I'm referring to, that I have watched a million times. I have watched it so many times. They have episodes on all sorts of different whales. You have one on orcas, belugas, which are like my favorite, but I have to say humpbacks are really coming up there. Like, I just love all whales equally. I feel like I can't pick a favorite, but like, it's just so hard. I also love sperm whales. Like, I love all whales. Okay, I feel bad if I say that one is my favorite, but this book goes along with that. It is like the photos from the series, and it is just so beautiful. It's once again a coffee table book. Like, I keep both of these books out all the time, but it is stunning, and I probably will also read this one. I just haven't actually like flipped through and read it. I have just flipped through and looked at the pictures and then given it a quick skim, but I have watched the docu-series so many times it like isn't even funny. I've watched it a lot, and I highly recommend it. It is so good. On that note, I just have really been obsessed with this kind of Secrets of series that they have on National Geographic. So I think there's only 3 unless I'm missing one, but I most recently was just finishing up with the Secrets of Elephants, which is also really good. Part of why I enjoy these series is because I am a lover of documentaries, and documentaries about animals too, but I can't watch animals getting hurt. I really struggle with that. So I have a very low tolerance for that, and the Secrets of series doesn't show you like the title animal getting hurt, which is nice. There's only like one scene in the whale thing, but you don't really see anything. You just see something that you're like, oh, that's kind of sad. Also, obviously in the orcas episode, you're gonna be seeing some things, and that will kind of make you sad, but it's also so fascinating. Like, I'm really torn, and I just kind of look away at the sad parts, but these aren't depressing. They are depressing in a way because they talk about how like humans suck basically and the planet and stuff like that, but they're also really uplifting and really informative, and that's why I love the series. But I would say one of my other favorites other than the whales one would be the octopus one. The octopus one was so freaking cool. It was so interesting to see the intelligence of octopi, and that's why I was mentioning it has really made me want to reread Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt, which features an octopus as one of the main characters, and it's such a good story. So so it's just made me want to reread that very, very badly. But yeah, I have been all up on these, like watching all of these different documentaries, and I am actually in between right now. I need to pick a new one to watch. So that's kind of what I've been doing, because I was on a series of watching all these true crime documentaries, and I've kind of fallen off of that a little bit and have gotten way more into watching some animal ones, because I know that the animals are going to fare well. But now I'm kind of going into animals and history and that sort of thing, away from the true crime, because I'm going to be spending an extended period of time by myself, and I don't want to be watching true crime before doing that. So that's all the like book and kind of media things that I wanted to talk about. That's really what has been consuming my life. But other than that, I have gotten back into other hobbies other than just crochet. For a while, I was doing all sorts of different hobbies, and then crochet completely took over. But now I have started to kind of get back into experimenting with other hobbies, and one of the ones is just general art. Like just art in general, I have been getting into. So I have broken out my sketchbook here again, and I have been experimenting with all sorts of different things. I wouldn't say that I'm good, but that's not the goal, and that's what I'm trying to kind of let go of. So I've been experimenting with, this was the first time trying with them, but with oil pastels. So I've got a bunch of oil pastels here. I got this little kit as well, and I did do an avocado yesterday, which I think turned out way better than I was expecting it to be honest. So I'm kind of regret I did it upside down and on a page with other stuff. If I had known it was going to be good, then I would have done it elsewhere. But that was my first time kind of experimenting with blending and stuff. But I also have been doodling with these little like fine liners, which was a lot of fun. And then yesterday I broke out the watercolors, and I did, of course, a whale. I told you I've been on my whale grind. I've just been obsessed with whale. I always am, but like it's just really been coming out lately. So I wish the background was a different color, but I think it's okay. You know, I'm trying not to be too hard on myself because I'm not doing it to be good. And then earlier I was just practicing with different like blending techniques and stuff with watercolors. So I have just been doing all of the art stuff. That has been my absolute favorite. Watercolor is definitely something that like I have a palette of it, so I've been using that quite a bit, but I'd like to get into acrylics and stuff, but those have kind of been the main artsy things that I've been doing. I was really into digital drawing on like Procreate for a while, but now I've been getting into actual physical art and stuff like that, and it's a lot of fun. It's something that I used to love as a kid, but then I was like, oh, I'm not very good at it, so then I stopped doing it, and now I'm trying to get back into it. There's a lot happening. I've also really been getting back into listening to podcasts. So the podcast about whales that I wanted to mention is the Whale Nerds podcast. I really enjoy that one. They have a ton of different episodes. So I've just been going back in the archives and listening to all those episodes. But I also have been listening to, I forget what it's called, but I'll have like a picture of it. But the Coffee Chats podcast, I think it's with Caitlin, if I'm remembering correctly. But I find that one really motivational. I like a lot of things about it. I find that a lot of her viewpoints really align with mine, and it's just very enjoyable for me to listen to because of that. And also kind of a perennial favorite is the Stuff You Should Know podcast. I just love learning things all the time. I'm really just, I don't know, I just want knowledge all the time. So I love this one because it tells you all different stories, and you get to like explore all these different topics and just learn a bunch of new things while I'm like driving wherever. It's just super fun. And the last thing that I want to talk about that I've really been loving is this little basement cozy area that I've made. I have this like dinky little fold out couch thingy down there. Like calling it a couch is even a stretch, but I have that down there, and then I have this table that's just a cheap table where I can do all these artsy things. Like I can do my watercolors, I can have all my hobby stuff down there, and it just really feels like a space for me to be creative. I have all my yarn down there, and it's also where I'll practice burlesque and everything. So it's just a nice space for me to kind of escape to, and like it just kind of being down there really wakes up my creativity, which is always awesome. So I do really enjoy going down there and spending time down there. My one complaint is that it's a basement, so I wish, you know, the sun came down there a little bit more, but it does come down a little bit. It's just, you know, It's darker than upstairs, obviously. Oh my god, I can't believe I almost forgot this favorite actually. I have also been getting back into Animal Crossing. When I was on the plane, I wanted something to do, you know, just something that I could do on the plane. And I started playing. I had gotten a long time ago the expansion pack for Animal Crossing. I can't think of what it's called. All I can think of is The Sims Dream Home Decorator, but I don't think that that's what it's called. It's something about the island, isn't it? I have no idea. What is it called? I can think of Dream Home Decorator and then Happy Home Academy, but it's not Happy Home Academy. It's something, okay? So I've been playing that a lot, and just designing all these different spaces has been so much fun because you have access to all of the furniture, like, just right away, which is so lovely because usually you have to like hunt for it or wait for it to show up in your shop. And I hadn't opened my island in a very long time. Like when I went to go and talk to people, they were like, it's been 3 years, and I was like, it has been 3 years. So it's nice to just be back in it. It's just such a fun, cozy game to escape into. But that is going to be all for all of my favorite things recently. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to check out, if you were interested in picking up one of your own little bookshelf buddies here, don't forget to check out my Etsy shop, which will be linked down below for you guys. So thank you once again so much for watching, and I will see you guys in another new video very soon. Bye!